Chapter 47. Now we have enough ammunition. At the sound of gunfire, Henry, hiding as cannon fodder within the crowd, instantly crouched down with his gun in hand, terrified. Across from them was a ruthless, cold-blooded enchantress who could shoot to kill with unerring accuracy, targeting her victims' heads. When he came to his senses, he realized that the rope bridge in front had been severed. Upon witnessing this, Henry silently applauded Maria in his heart. With the rope bridge cut, he no longer needed to hide amongst these refugees and lead the charge to the other side. However, Henry soon sensed something amiss. Only a few people had crouched down. The majority of the refugees were in a state of panic, seeking shelter rather than simply crouching down. In this case, wouldn't those who had crouched down be visible to the murderous enchantress of the number 36 villa? They would definitely be seen. Henry, his heart racing with fear, dared not stand up but scrambled to blend in with the crowd and run to the side. Maria stood at the window, casting a magic spatial array to observe the people on the other side of the rope bridge. Her aim was to break the bridge and prevent these people from crossing over. However, she noticed those who had quickly crouched down. Some of them moved so swiftly that they revealed the guns in their hands. Without hesitation, Maria fired several shots, killing 6 people. Except for 2 who were clever enough to escape amidst the chaos, injuring nearby refugees, none were missed. Henry, who had narrowly escaped death, leaned against the corner with his gun, his clothes soaked through. He couldn't help but tremble, not knowing whether it was from the cold or fear. 2 of his brothers had been shot dead. He regretted it more and more. Why had he run his mouth? Having temporarily dealt with the trouble across the rope bridge, Maria counted her ammunition. 301 rounds of 7.62mm bullets for the AK-47 and 105 rounds of 5.56mm bullets for the M416. There were so many people on the other side, and these bullets were not enough. She glanced back at the rope bridge and said, "Lily, keep an eye on things here. I'm going downstairs." Maria arrived at the second-floor staircase, removed the furniture blocking the way, and then went to the first floor. For safety's sake, she first created a good vantage point by throwing several pieces of furniture to haphazardly block the entrance. After doing this, Maria cautiously descended and came to the corpse of Patrick, the leader of the 12th Combat Team. She had been too afraid earlier, fearing someone might be waiting at the door, so she hadn't dared to search the body. Now that she had a rare moment of time and had confirmed there was no danger around the villa, Maria could search with peace of mind. There was another AK-47 with a 2x scope attached. What a treasure! The gun's bullets had not been used yet. Nearby was a backpack containing 600 rounds of 7.62mm bullets. Maria's eyes lit up. This would be enough to solve her ammunition shortage problem. In addition to the bullets, there were 6 bombs the size of sweet potatoes in the backpack, which could be thrown when necessary. A dagger that curved like a tree branch, appearing extremely sharp. A water bottle, a roll of bandages, 2 packets of compressed biscuits. A wallet. The wallet was empty except for some bills and a photograph of a smiling little girl sitting on a hospital bed. She didn't need this. Maria blinked and returned the wallet and water bottle to the corpse. After the battle, she would send all these corpses into the rainwater outside for a simple mudslide burial. After scavenging the supplies, Maria felt a rare sense of joy. Perhaps this was the real world. Maria felt that this was more thrilling than in the games. She hurried back to the 3rd floor, her body trembling slightly, this time out of excitement. "Maria, they are arranging people to move things and attempt to block the landslide area, trying to pave a path out," Lily said. "Some people are approaching from the back of the hill." Maria looked out the window. The landslide area had, over the course of a month, been affected by heavy rain and was almost turning into a massive trench. The trench was filled with rushing water from the mountains and the banks on both sides, which showed signs of expanding. In this situation, if they wanted to block part of the area to pave a way through, they might trigger another landslide. Maria and Lily came to the back and opened all the windows as usual. Directly opposite the number 36 villa were 2 other villas, spaced about 100 meters apart. Behind these two villas was a nearly 3-meter-high wall. The section close to the landslide area had been washed away, with trees lying haphazardly. Further up was a steep slope formed by the landslide, a very dangerous terrain. Anyone attempting to pass through there would risk falling off if they weren't careful. "Maria, they're over there." Lily pointed in a direction. Maria followed Lily's finger and, directly casting a magic spatial array, locked onto the target with her AK-47. Bang! The first person to peer out was instantly shot in the head. Within 3 seconds, 2 more thought they had found a good angle to approach, but Maria shot them dead with 2 consecutive shots. Jamie, the leader of the 10th Combat Team, was feeling terrible at this sight. The people in the number 36 villa were too extraordinary. In this stormy mountainous environment, even without rain, combat would be difficult, yet the opponent was taking them out one by one. "Team leader, what do we do?" a team member asked. They couldn't afford to show themselves now. They could only hide behind the slope or behind large rocks. "Wait," Jamie said. The boss had said that, apart from the 1st and 2nd combat teams, all other teams would join the fight. Besides, he didn't want to be as foolish as Patrick from the 12th combat team, leading the entire team to their deaths. Without their lives, they would have nothing. Before long, the leaders of the 3rd, 6th, and 7th combat teams arrived. The team leaders gathered together, each looking at the other. Determining who would lead the charge became a difficult problem for them. "Jamie, the boss holds you in high regard. I won't compete for the main attack this time. It's all yours." "That's right, Jamie. Among our combat teams, yours has the most guns and the strongest force. Stop the bullshit and figure out how to get through. Otherwise, we'll keep soaking in the rain and come down with colds when we return." Jamie wasn't going to indulge these guys. They were all in the same boat. "Don't worry, I've made arrangements on the way here," said Otto, the leader of the 6th combat team. The others looked at Otto, who pointed behind them. On the muddy mountain path, hundreds of refugees were carrying planks, cabinets, sandbags, and other items towards them. Otto said, "We'll have these cannon fodder pave the way in front, while one team stays here to distract the enemy. The other 3 teams will flank from different angles, aiming to occupy the villas on both sides first. Then, we'll have the chance to blow up the number 36 villa. Maria, there are many people coming from the back of the hill, all refugees living in the tourist area," Lily said, trembling. "They seem to be planning something dangerous." Maria looked into the rain-soaked forest. These people were not showing themselves now, which made her feel very passive. She suddenly remembered something. In the Middle East, during wedding celebrations, people often fired guns into the air, and accidental falling bullets had killed people on the ground during the festivities. Could she try something similar? That way, even if these people didn't show themselves, she could still take them out. Chapter 48. Gun Kata. With Lily guiding the way and Maria sensing the malice emanating from their enemies, she could determine their approximate locations outside her line of sight. Maria aimed the AK-47 at the sky and fired. Bang! A gunshot echoed, and the bullet landed near one of the targets. It seems the people in Villa 36 are getting anxious. So even the killer which can get anxious. What a witch, just a regular person. I thought she had aimbot or something. Interesting. She isn't trying to kill with bullets that fall from the sky, is she? Ha ha ha. Dude, what are you talking about? I think she's just shooting randomly, trying to make us reveal ourselves. Just wait. She's surrounded on all sides now, and she won't last long. The members of various combat teams behind the mountain said with laughter. As they spoke, another gunshot rang out, with the bullet seemingly going nowhere. Team 6 leader Otto said, "I've come up with a new plan. We'll have these cannon fodder clear the way while shouting insults." Jamie said, "Whatever the plan is, just use it." Otto said, "Okay." After firing twice in succession, Maria seemed to draw a straight line from a distance. The angle needed adjusting. Maria slightly changed the angle and fired again. Still, no targets were hit, but she had effectively drawn a triangle, within which the malicious individuals were now located. Under normal circumstances, she only needed to target any enemy and fire twice, which would guarantee at least one hit. As for whether the bullet would hit the head or heart precisely, Maria couldn't guarantee it. If the enemy wore body armor, it might not even penetrate. After all, these were falling bullets from the sky. One shouldn't ask for too much. Suddenly, Maria saw many refugees emerging from the mountainside. The strong ones held various tools, clearing the way, paving paths, and setting up barriers, preparing for an assault. They were terrified, but with guns pointed at them, they had no choice but to comply. Meanwhile, those who couldn't work and those who could began shouting loudly, "Maria of Villa 36, please surrender. If you don't, we'll all die. Please have mercy. Can you bear to watch us be killed? Maria, please die. If you die, everyone can be saved. Why won't you die, you witch? Does it only make you happy to harm everyone and bring about their deaths? Have pity on the children. My child is only 18 years old and still needs a mother's care." Suddenly bombarded with so many voices, Maria crouched down, clutching the AK-47, trembling. After a few seconds, Maria stood up, aimed the AK-47 at the people clearing the way, and fired each shot a headshot. In an instant, over a dozen people fell, their blood mixing with the rain, indistinguishable. "Ah, she's killing people." Some people screamed in terror. They no longer dared to curse Maria, and regardless of how the combat team members threatened them, they fled back or deeper into the mountainside. Killing one is killing, 10 is killing, and killing more makes no difference. The grudge had been forged. It was not certain that some among them might lurk, looking for an opportunity to harm her, just like those she had spared before. When she destroyed the rope bridge, Maria clearly saw that Henry and his brothers, whom she had spared before, were among the refugees, aiming to attack Villa 36 with guns. Such a mistake Maria did not want to make again. Most importantly, facing so many people, she was on the verge of crouching down again, clutching the gun and trembling. Only by killing them until they feared, until the number of people decreased or turned into corpses, could she hold on. Maria steadied her slightly trembling hands and continued to fire. Otto and Jamie watched body after body fall, and even though they had done similar things before, seeing it happen before their eyes made their hearts shiver. Killer witch. This was a real killer witch. How long had their plan just begun? 37 cannon fodder had been directly killed by Maria, and even though these cannon fodder were terrified to the extreme, fleeing in all directions, Maria did not need them to intervene. She took the initiative to kill them for them. Unless they completely escaped Maria's attack range. Did she have no heart? Too ruthless. Team 6 leader Otto, who had thought his plan was quite brilliant, felt a bit embarrassed. "I have another plan." "What plan?" Jamie looked at his colleague and asked. As long as it didn't involve sending his brothers to their deaths, he would support any of Otto's bad ideas. Otto said, "Catapults. We'll gather these strong cannon fodder to build a few catapults and directly throw lit explosives over to blow her up." Jamie's eyes lit up. This idea could really work. Under normal circumstances, any sniper or marksman encountered on the battlefield would be directly bombed to death with cannons, never sending people for close-quarters attacks. Close-quarters attacks were no different from suicide. Jamie said, "We'll report this decision to the boss and inform Vincent and the others, launching attacks with catapults from both sides to blast her. Team members responsible for flanking attacks should also temporarily cease action until the catapults are ready, to reduce casualties." Otto said, "Good, you go and contact them, and I'll arrange for people to make the catapults." He originally wanted the cannon fodder he had just brought to do this job, but when he turned around, damn, Maria had already killed about 60 of them, and the rest had run into the mountains without a trace. There was no other way. He had to take his team members back to the tourist area and find another batch of cannon fodder to come up the mountain to make catapults. At the landslide site, Vincent received the message over the walkie-talkie. He immediately communicated with the other combat teams and unanimously agreed on the method of making catapults to throw explosives at Villa 36. There was plenty of firewood on the mountain and in the villa area, and it wouldn't take much time to make a few catapults. After all, there were so many cannon fodder. At the parking lot, Connie Tark received a report from her subordinate, smiled, and said nothing. As early as when she issued the order to attack, she had stated that any means of attack could be used, as long as Villa 36 was leveled to the ground. Directly sending subordinates to their deaths was no different from cutting off one's own arm. She never did such things. If Team 12 leader Patrick were still alive, she would have Patrick undergo the most severe punishment. The barrel of the AK-47 was getting a bit hot. Maria put the AK-47 aside, switched to the M416, and continued to look for targets. There were no cannon fodder in sight anymore. She seemed to have killed many people just now. Scared, seeing no movement from the back of the mountain, Maria temporarily returned to the front and checked the vicinity of the rope bridge. There were still cannon fodder continuously moving things to throw down, hoping to pave a road. Maria sensed considerable malice from these people. She shot and killed 6 by headshot. The subsequent cannon fodder immediately stopped their work and dared not continue moving things. In just a short while, the cabinets and beds that had been moved into the ditch earlier, with some obstruction effect, were washed away by the rising torrential waters. Team 11 leader Vincent, who was in charge of supervision, saw this and his mind went blank. Damn it! Didn't she focus on killing people behind the mountain? How did she kill people in the front so quickly? After dealing with the situation at the rope bridge, Maria returned to the back and adjusted her position before firing again. Bang! A gunshot rang out. The bullet drew a beautiful arc in the sky and hit a target filled with malice outside her field of vision precisely. Maria had an epiphany. Her body couldn't help but tremble. This should be the gun kata mentioned in shooting games, which allows bullets to curve and hit targets, right? Before she could be happy for 3 seconds, Lily said in horror, "Maria, they're making catapults and preparing to throw lit explosives directly over here to blow up this place." Chapter 49. Can't someone stop Maria from cheating? Otto returned with the cannon fodder and ordered them to start chopping wood on the spot to begin constructing catapults. But just a short while away, something seemed off here. "Where's your leader?" Otto demanded, seeing a member of the combat team with a frightened expression. "The leader, he was killed," the team member stammered, trembling. Otto pushed the guy aside and took a few steps forward, quickly spotting the leader of the 10th Combat Team, Jamie. Jamie was fine before he left, and he was certain Jamie was hiding behind the sight line of Villa 36. Absolutely impossible to be detected. How did he die? Was it a friendly fire? Such things had happened before. If it was friendly, it needed to be dealt with quickly. If not, it meant there might be an unknown hidden enemy on the hill, making it unsafe. Otto quickly examined Jamie's body, his pupils narrowing as he noticed a bullet had penetrated Jamie's head. From this fatal wound, it looked as though the bullet had fallen from the sky. Otto looked gravely into the distance. Not just Jamie, but 2 others had been killed in a similar manner. One had been shot in the back, the other in the neck, hitting the carotid artery. Additionally, 3 others were injured, shot in various locations. Bang! Another gunshot came from the direction of Villa 36. The combat team member who had just reported to Otto fell to the ground, his face still frozen in extreme terror as he collapsed. Otto saw clearly that the man had been shot in the back, convulsing on the ground, beyond saving. The bullets really were falling from the sky. Fall back! Fall back! Fall back! Otto immediately grabbed the helmet hanging from his waist and put it on, ushering his combat team members to retreat. Everyone with a helmet, put it on. He had decided that he would not approach the front until the catapults were ready. The enemy was definitely cheating. Otherwise, how could they have such incredible luck? And Pan he had no one to complain to. Thinking about Jamie's death, if Jamie had been wearing a helmet, he wouldn't have died so easily. After all, every team leader was equipped with a precious bulletproof vest, and being shot wouldn't have been fatal. Inside the villa, Maria was trembling with an M416 in her arms. Using the skyward shooting method to kill with falling bullets had consumed too much of her mental energy, and psychologically, she was struggling to keep it together, needing a break to adjust. Next to her, Lily looked pale, seemingly at her limit. Lily, are you okay? Maria handed out some food. Why don't you eat something? Lily shook her head. Thanks, Maria. I'm not hungry, Maria said. Then let's rest for a while. They won't dare to show their faces for some time. Lily nodded, looking at Maria beside her, hesitating a bit before saying, Maria, the ability I suddenly gained is actually… Maria stroked Lily's head. You don't have to say if you don't want to. It's okay. Lily replied, Maria, I want to say. Maria looked into Lily's eyes, seeing fear that seemed to worry she might abandon Lily. A look similar to that of stray kittens she had seen before. Felt strange. Lily seemed to muster immense courage, saying, That day, my mom took me to a restaurant, and suddenly there was an earthquake. A landslide came, and when my mom was about to fall, she pushed me away. I wanted to find my mom, but she fell, and I was terrified, wanting someone to save me. It was Maria who saved me then. Lily spoke haltingly. Maria listened quietly. She blinked, looking incredulously at Lily. Lily said, My ability must have awakened then. I can sometimes hear what Maria thinks, hear what many people around me think. Maria has severe social anxiety and theoretically wouldn't go out to risk saving me. But Maria came to save me. Later, I had a guess. Maria is very kind. And I used Maria's kindness, influencing Maria with my mental power to forget the danger and come save me. Later, I tried to influence others with this power and proved my ability. I've always been afraid to say it out loud, afraid Maria would know and make me leave. Maria stroked Lily's head. What Lily had just said was probably just part of it. She remembered her magical abilities being sensed by Lily, and a thought had flashed through her mind about whether to kill Lily, causing Lily's face to turn pale with fear. At the time, she thought Lily was just too drenched from the rain and had gotten sick. Later, when Maria was thinking about giving Lily books to study, Lily's face turned pale again, presumably because she heard Maria's thoughts and got scared. It was the fear of studying. During battles, whenever there was an attack, Lily could warn in advance, unsurprisingly, due to the external attacker's abundant mental activity. They thought themselves undetectable under the cover of the rain, but in Lily's mental power, they were noisy. Thinking of this, Maria's expression became very strange. Described as a game skill, Lily had simultaneously awakened abilities like telepathy and mind control, making her the leading lady in any story. In a Otome game, wouldn't that be incredibly exciting? At this moment, Lily, worried about being sent away by Maria, was stupefied. Lily, who could involuntarily hear people's thoughts, never expected such a serious matter to become so comical in Maria's mind. It was always her actively or passively influencing Maria, exploiting Maria's kindness. No one would like their mind to be influenced. She was just a burden. Without her, Maria might have run away already. Lily, you can't hear all of my thoughts, can you? Maria suddenly asked. Lily looked puzzled. I don't know. Maria smiled softly, stroking Lily's head. What am I thinking now? Lily concentrated, her body trembling. Maria is thinking about whether to kill me, Maria said. Try to sense again? Lily felt a bit dazed. Lily is very cute. Maria nodded. Correct answer. Now try sensing again. Lily's face turned ashen. Maria, I can't hear anything. Maria stroked Lily's head. That's right. You can hear some of my thoughts, but not all. There are things you can't hear. Perhaps as you grow, you'll be able to hear more. As for your mind-influencing ability, it can indeed affect many people, but the influence is limited. If it were really powerful, my social anxiety would have been cured long ago, right? Why don't you try? Lily generated a thought in her mind, attempting to influence Maria. Maria just looked at her, showing no reaction. Lily's influence on Maria failed. Chapter 50. Oh no! Did she actively come out to kill? Maria gently patted Lily's head to reassure her. Having understood Lily's abilities, Maria was filled with more thoughts. As long as a person is alive, they have thoughts. They have ideas, and these ideas manifest within them, which Lily can hear within a certain range and even influence. Unless they become a mere shell of a person, there's really no helping that. As for whether Lily would deceive her, Maria wasn't concerned. Within a certain range, any malicious intent directed towards her could be sensed, and the closer it was, the stronger the perception. Lily, you should rest now. Soon, those people are going to launch an attack. Use your mind control to give them a hint of bravery and fearlessness, so they charge forward without hesitation. Maria instructed. As long as these people show themselves, whether it's day or night, it would be easier to deal with them. Lily, looking at Maria beside her, nodded firmly. Having revealed her secret that she had kept hidden in her heart, and not being cast away by Maria, Lily felt much more at ease, her tense spirit relaxing. Before she knew it, she leaned on Maria's shoulder and fell asleep. The battle was temporarily halted. The combat teams on the mountain began to retreat, as did those at the rope bridge. It was impossible to continue. Maria's attacks were too overwhelming. Having resorted to shooting upwards, with bullets raining down from the sky to kill, she was too overpowering. They wouldn't show themselves until the trebuchet was built. Recruited disaster victims braved the heavy rain, under the supervision of combat team members, to move materials and construct the trebuchet. If anyone slacked off, they would be met with punches and kicks. After which, if they still didn't work, they would be stabbed to death instantly, serving as a warning to others. The disaster victims, used as cannon fodder, dared to feel anger but didn't dare to speak out. Henry, one of the surviving cannon fodder, felt like he could manage again. Having participated in the attack earlier and luckily surviving, he had barely gained the combat team's approval, earning him a job as a foreman. Once the trebuchet was built and the explosive package detonated, Maria would undoubtedly be killed. His life would be saved. He was filled with hope for the future. In contrast, the leader of the ruins, Strong, had become the head laborer in the heavy rain. Remembering how arrogant Strong's eyes were when he first arrived at the tourist area, his disdain for them, Henry never forgot. Meanwhile, after staying silent for a long time, Mr. Song sneaked into a house. Earlier, a sniper had come here and was killed by Maria. Later, 2 others who tried to take the sniper rifle were also killed by Maria. Since then, no members of the combat team dared to come for this sniper rifle. As one of the few uncaptured individuals, he had been hiding in the villa. After waiting for a long time, feeling the time was right, he decided to take the sniper rifle. Considering that touching the sniper rifle might get him killed, Mr. Song entered the room and approached the corpse on the ground in a standard crawl. The closer he got to the corpse, the faster his heart beat, fearing a bullet might come through the window and kill him. However, the closer he got, the stronger his resentment towards Strong became. With this sniper rifle, he could have his revenge. He touched the rifle. Mr. Song grabbed the rifle, rolled over, and leaned against the wall, panting heavily. For a moment, he felt like he was standing at the gates of hell, just a step away from death. Meanwhile, in Villa 36, Lily suddenly opened her eyes. Maria! Someone is trying to take the sniper rifle. Maria, holding the M416, trembled. Someone trying to take the sniper rifle? That was extremely dangerous. For safety reasons, Maria briefly returned to the front, glancing at the villa window where the sniper rifle was left. Lily followed and said, Maria, the sniper rifle has been taken. The person who took it intends to kill someone else, not specifically targeting Maria. Maria breathed a sigh of relief. If that's the case, then it could be temporarily ignored. Having confirmed there was no malicious intent directed at her, Maria withdrew her gaze and returned to the back of the villa, holding the M416, periodically checking the mountain. It seemed they would have to wait until the trebuchet was made to see further actions. Should she continue to wait, or should she take the initiative to strike? Maria pondered, realizing her villa was completely surrounded. Venturing out would be suicide, and with such a distance being overwhelming, confronting them face to face was out of the question. She decided to have some food first. Maria rummaged through her magical space, finding some cake and milk tea to share with Lily on the table. Unconsciously, it grew dark. Maria and Lily were eating, but outside, The various combat teams were still supervising the disaster victims making the trebuchet. It's dark now. Should we sneak up during the night? Dude, do you think an enemy with aim assist cares about day or night? Two members of the combat team stood under a temporary shelter from the rain, watching the busy disaster victims outside, but couldn't continue their conversation after just one sentence. Recalling the brothers who had died tragically, the young man who asked the question felt deeply ashamed. Now, he sincerely hoped that the leaders of the combat teams would be wise and wouldn't send them to die in the dark. Fortunately, the leaders of the combat teams were currently very calm, with no impulsive thoughts. In their view, once the trebuchet was built and the explosive package was detonated, everything would be over. Then, the entire tourist area would be under their control, with no one able to rebel, free to do whatever they wanted. Otherwise, with such a dangerous person capable of headshots lurking in the tourist area, no one could sleep peacefully. In the eastern area affected by landslides and mudslides, Mr. Song sneaked into a villa with a good view, from where he could see the site making the trebuchet over 500 meters away. Thankfully, the heavy rain stopped at this moment. This allowed Mr. Song to clearly see the busy disaster victims under the lights, and in no time at all, he found his long-desired target, Strong. Seeing his enemy, Mr. Song's eyes burned with the fire of revenge. However, he didn't act immediately, instead searching around to see if there were any members of the ruins among the disaster victims. Anyone who had eaten his food and still wanted to kill him would not be spared. He found two more. Mr. Song closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and when he opened them again, there was no anger, only coldness. He lifted the sniper rifle, adjusted the angle, aimed, and completed the actions in one fluid motion. For a moment, he seemed to return to the time when he participated in Special Forces training in his youth. Although many years had passed, the moment he held the rifle, all his memories came back. Bang! A gunshot rang out, echoing through the rainy night sky. On the site making the trebuchet, a man was shot in the head and fell to the ground with a splash in the rainwater, his blood staining the water red. Not far away, the 11th Combat Team leader, Vincent, stood up, seeing the man who had been shot in the head on the site. His expression changed repeatedly. Damn! Did she actively come out to kill? Chapter 51. A major flaw in the defense plan. Strong was carrying a box of supplies when he was accidentally bumped into, causing him to lose balance and drop the box into the water. Most of the nails, screws, and gears tumbled into the water. What the hell? Are you incompetent or just haven't eaten? A furious team member armed with a gun witnessed this and marched over to confront Strong, ready to strike him. Strong dodged, and the gun-wielding team member lunged. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out. The team member was shot in the head and fell into the rain. Strong sat in the rain, splattered with blood, his expression one of sheer horror. If he hadn't dodged, would the bullet have been meant for him? Ah! The busy refugees on the site were also terrified. They scattered, blocking Mr. Song's sniper view. At that moment, Strong had a dangerous thought. He grabbed the gun from the corpse in front of him, took some bullets, and melted into the chaos among the refugees, disappearing into the darkness. Damn! Mr. Song was furious. He immediately switched targets and shot two other members within his view. There! Bodhi, the leader of the 4th Combat Team, saw the sparks from the villa and quickly directed his team to storm Mr. Song's villa. Mr. Song saw this too. He immediately switched targets and shot Bodhi in the head. The other team members, who were about to rush forward, all gasped. Their leader was shot in the head. Turn off the lights! In a critical moment, Vincent, the leader of the 11th Combat Team, issued a crucial order to shut off all the lights on the site. All headshots. It must be Maria from Villa 36 who has come out. How did she manage to cross the area affected by landslides and mudflows to get here? Damn it! Vincent hid in a corner, ordering the teams to attack the villa with sparks without exposing himself. But by then, Mr. Song had already put away his sniper rifle and swiftly descended the stairs, disappearing into the dark. It was truly regrettable that he failed to kill Strong this time. Next time, he wouldn't miss his chance. In Villa 36, Maria looked puzzledly out the window. Was that the sound of a sniper rifle just now? What happened? Someone with a sniper rifle is killing people. Lily said. 2 company members and 2 refugees were killed, all shot in the head. Maria sipped her milk tea. The person with the sniper rifle is incredible, managing to shoot everyone in the head. Lily added. They're very scared, thinking it's Maria who went on the offensive. Maria sipped her milk tea, her expression turning peculiar. It had nothing to do with her at all. Let me calm down with some milk tea first. No matter what, it's best if they keep fighting outside, all the way until dawn. In the parking lot, Connie Tark received the battle report. 2 of her company's team leaders were shot in the head in the afternoon, and another one in the evening. 37 combatants were killed and 8 wounded. This did not include the casualties among the refugees. She had never suffered such losses. At this moment, Connie Tark was very disappointed with her subordinates. She had never imagined that to destroy a villa and kill 1 person, such heavy losses would be incurred. The killer witch Maria? Connie Tark closed the criminal law book in front of her, sipped her warm coffee, and made a decision. Call Phoenix. A few minutes later, a smiling Pangza walked in. Boss, what can I do for you? Connie Tark said. Are the bait materials ready? Phoenix replied. Boss, 2,000 pounds of bait materials are ready. Do you want to use them now? Connie Tark said. Send some to Otto. He knows what to do. Phoenix said. Boss, but I heard Maria is over here. Destroying the villas across the landslide area won't make sense. Connie Tark glanced at him. Heh, you think it's her? If it really is Maria, it wouldn't just be one Bodhi who's dead. There's old 6 in the tourist area. I'll give you 10 people. Find and kill him. Phoenix patted his chest, smiling. Boss, leave it to me, you can count on me. Connie Tark watched Phoenix leave, lost in thought. According to the original plan, she was to control the entire tourist area within a day, turning it into an impregnable fortress to prevent invasions from other forces. But just one Maria had disrupted her plan. What was more surprising was that there was an old 6 popping up at night. Although such out-of-control variables could be very dangerous, the process of taking down challenging targets and the sense of accomplishment when finally destroying them were incredibly satisfying and addictive. Connie Tark put down the criminal law book and said, Prepare dinner for me with monkey brains. The 2 beautiful maids by Connie Tark's side flashed expressions of extreme horror, but quickly suppressed them. Yes, it was late at night. Outside was pitch black. Inside the villa was pitch black. Maria could endure such darkness, even enjoy it. But Lily was very uncomfortable. She was scared. So, Maria lit an oil lamp in the small living room on the 3rd floor. This way, most of the 3rd floor of the villa could be illuminated without being plunged into complete darkness, and it wouldn't affect the shadows projected on the windows. Maria, you can turn off the lights. Lily trembled slightly. I'm not scared. Maria smiled slightly. It's okay. They'll probably take a while to build the trebuchet. You can take a nap and recharge. Lily nodded. She really couldn't hold on anymore. Don't think she's been squatting next to Maria all the time. Due to excessive mental exhaustion, Lily had already dozed off several times. Seeing Lily asleep, Maria sipped another cup of milk tea and began to ponder a very serious issue. She realized there was a major flaw in the defense plan formulated during the day. Once the enemy built the trebuchet and started throwing explosive packages, what should she do? Should she directly deploy the magical spatial array? Yes, that was Maria's thought. If it was just one direction of trebuchets throwing explosive packages, Maria was quite confident she could stop them. But what if these people attacked from multiple directions? What should she do then? Because so far, the diameter of the magical spatial array she could deploy was a 15-meter circular plane, which wasn't enough to cover the entire villa. Maria tried to amplify the spatial magical array several times, but doing so would double the magic consumption. Moreover, she was worried that the explosive packages thrown over might explode prematurely, and the powerful shockwave could shatter the spatial magic array she deployed. Such a situation was also possible. What should she do? Scared. Chapter 52. The catapults are completed. Maria, deep in thought, held the M416 close to her chest. Gradually, she fell asleep, having fought all day with her mind constantly on edge. Even a witch needs rest. However, Maria did not enter a deep sleep. The slightest disturbance would rouse her. Gunshots echoed from afar, but they were distant. After confirming there was no immediate threat, Maria would quickly fall back asleep. This continued intermittently until the early hours of the morning when Lily woke up, startled. "Maria, they've finished building the catapults. What's happening?" Maria, holding the M416, trembled slightly as she asked. Lily quickly explained, "Maria, they've built 3 catapults and are preparing to launch explosive bundles here. 2 catapults will be at the rope bridge and 1 on the mountain. There's also a strange person on the mountain who brought people to carry up a lot of bait for some nefarious purpose." Maria glanced out the dark window, the blackness outside only revealing a few scattered firelight spots obscured by barriers, with nothing else visible. Were they about to start attacking with the catapults? Fearful. At the rope bridge, Vincent looked at the completed catapult, feeling no joy despite the achievement. The assailants who attacked the catapult construction site had not been found. Moreover, 2 guns were missing. Several refugees had escaped. It was no surprise that the fleeing refugees had taken the guns amidst the chaos. As he understood it, before the boss brought them to the resort, the area had already seen intense killings. Now, with refugees in possession of firearms, they would undoubtedly cause more trouble. All of this stemmed from the assault on the 36th villa across the landslide area. He longed to tell the boss to cease the attack and leave Maria alone. But he didn't dare. Especially after learning about the boss's dinner menu last night, Vincent found himself even more apprehensive. "Are you sure the attackers weren't Maria?" "Rest assured, it wasn't," Phoenix said. "I've had the scene investigated, and there's not a trace of a cute girl's scent. How could it be Maria? Plus, she's surrounded on all sides, and there's a landslide area in the way. How would she get here? Fly?" Vincent frowned. "All right?" Phoenix asked. "Vincent, do you not trust me?" Vincent replied, "No, I just have a feeling that something else is going to happen." Phoenix chuckled. "Vincent, your intuition is right. Something else will happen across the landslide area. You'd better prepare more over there." Vincent's face changed repeatedly. "You're going to—" He didn't dare to finish his sentence. "It's the boss's intention," Phoenix whispered, patting Vincent's shoulder. "So old Sue, don't worry. Even if your catapults are for naught, those on the other side will be wiped out." After a while, Vincent ordered the completed catapults to be rolled out. Out of respect and recognition for Maria, they decided to try a small-scale bombardment with explosive bundles. Throughout the operation, anyone at risk of exposure would be shielded by iron or other protective devices to prevent being sniped by Maria. Since the mountain catapult would take more time, Maria brought Lily to the front to observe the operation of Vincent's catapults. Maria's body no longer trembled. She stood by the window, preparing to intercept the incoming explosive bundles with a magical spatial formation, planning to return them, believing the senders would be very pleased. However, the events that followed were far beyond Maria's expectations. Fearful of the explosive bundles, despite the enemy's tight defenses, Maria, trembling, shot and killed several expendable refugees. All were headshots without much suffering. "Fire!" An order was given. The first explosive bundle flew over successfully. Maria, watching the flying ember, intended to detonate the bundle midair. However, the bundle fell after traveling barely 300 meters, exploding and destroying a corner of a neighboring villa. The magical spatial formation now served only to block a negligible amount of the blast. The explosion was still over 200 meters from her villa. It was quite awkward. "Ah!" After the blast, refugees in the neighboring villa began to flee, crying. Maria paid them no mind unless they approached her villa. The quiet night suddenly became lively. A few minutes later, the second explosive bundle was launched. With a boom, the bundle landed in the garden 200 meters away from Maria's villa, sending flowers and plants flying. Maria, are they launching explosive bundles? It feels like celebrating the new year with fireworks, asked a similarly frightened Lily. Maria blinked, saying, perhaps their catapults are just poorly made. In the movies she had seen, catapults always made a grand appearance, visually suggesting they could attack targets kilometers away without issue. However, this was the result of cinematic effects. Reality differed from the screen. Maria thought of something and searched her magical space, finding a book on ancient siege weapons. She found the section on catapults in the table of contents. It listed the ranges of catapults. Small catapults, 150 meters to 300 meters. Large catapults, 250 meters to 550 meters. Currently, these people were over 700 meters away from the 36th villa. Even if they dared to move the catapults closer to the landslide area, there would still be over 600 meters between their location and her residence. Maria's expression became very peculiar. What was she so tense about all night? Maria raised the M416, ready to try shooting down the rising explosive bundle. While this might require a bit more mental effort, she had just had a good sleep and felt mentally refreshed. At the rope bridge, Vincent looked at the operational results of the catapults and was tempted to shout, "Damn! Otto, that jerk, always coming up with bad ideas, making so many people work hard, only to end up with useless catapults." When the distance was insufficient, launching more explosive bundles with catapults was useless. "Team leader, what do we do with all these explosive bundles?" someone asked. "If we take them apart again, they might get wet. We don't know when this rain will stop, and wet explosives will be completely ineffective." Vincent gazed thoughtfully at the other side. Bombard the 2 villas within reach. After all, in a little while, there would be no living people left in these 2 villas.